100 Oklahoma High School Sports the Coach Jones shows. We got a special guest today, Mr. Lenny Hatchett. He's probably the hottest thing out since chicken sandwich at Popeyes.
Yes, sir.
How y'all doing this morning, guys?
Doing good.
Doing great, man. Doing great. Great things happening at Dell City, so I'm doing pretty good.
Great things are happening at Dell City. Well, Coach, last time we had talked, you had lost 3 games in a row, and it seems like right now you guys have found your niche and everything's going good. You went to the tournaments of champions. Will you tell us a little bit about it?
It's always a prestige tournament, to get invited to. Sometimes you get that invite, you don't want to turn it down, and probably one of the toughest tournaments in the state. They've been around for, I think this year was the 56th annual tournament, so it was really good for our young kids to get a chance to go up there and experience, and then for us to get to the finals and win it was icing on the cake.
Not only did you get to the finals, but you knocked off some good teams. Like you knocked off a big 6'8" Jinx in the semifinals, right?
Yeah, had beat Crossings, which I believe is ranked number 1 or 2 in their class right now, and then turned around and beat Jinx, which was number 1 at the time, beat them in overtime, and then turned around and had to beat the number 1 team, Tulsa Memorial, which was ranked number 1 at that time. So definitely it was a battle-tested tournament for us.
Well, Coach, like I said, you win that tournament, and you go off and you go play with the Bishop McGinnis. Was it the Bishop McGinnis tournament?
Correct.
Yeah, you also won it, and you knocked off some good teams in there. You guys had, I think you guys started off with Choctaw the first round, and you took care of business, and you knocked off some other good teams, and you ended up beating who'd you have in the finals?
Edmond Santa Fe.
Edmond Santa Fe, a team that a place that you coached at, took the team to the state championship. So it has to be kind of exciting what you're doing with the basketball team. You guys have lost a couple of guys with injuries and guys moving on, but it sounds like seems like the next man is up. So can you talk about some of the young men that stepped up so far?
One of the most consistent ones we really had is a young man by the name of Jamar McAllister. A lot of guys don't really recognize because he's not getting in the newspaper for a lot of points, but defensively, deflections and steals and things he does defensively for us is hard to not notice, should I say. And he's done a remarkable job. He's continuing to keep growing and getting better. Of course, Percy Green has stepped up, really done some good things for us and shooting the basketball. And then our 2 main guys, Brandon and Terry, they're staying consistent. Still got some work to do with everybody, but overall we're finding our ways of kind of keeping that chemistry going.
The second season is just starting, and like I said, I got a chance to catch you guys play Midwest City in the Dell City game. A great atmosphere, a good high school basketball game. The game kind of went back and forth, but a guy that stood out to me is a young man that plays football too. He's not very big, but Day, man, I just tell you, he played a little guard for you. He had a couple of little putbacks, and just he controlled the ball real good. I know right now Form has been kind of out of the game, but you got different guys kind of playing a point guard, or is he like 6th man, 7th man, or is he kind of like the energy off the bench?
Yeah, we've been having to do it by committee, to be honest with you. Marys Veely and Day, and we got another sophomore named Kentrell Thurston that's kind of got some minutes on our last game last Friday against El Reno. He finished the game. We just got to do a better job of taking care of the ball. But Day he comes off with a lot of energy. He plays fast. He plays hard. When we start taking care of the basketball a little better overall as a group, as a team,
yes, sir.
I think we're real hard to beat. And we sometimes get caught up in the game, which is what happens sometimes with kids. But overall, they're doing a good job and they're competing every day in practice.
That's good stuff. Like I said, you're sitting at 14-3. Like the last time we had touch base, us 3. You had lost 3 in a row, but it seems like you guys got, like I said, got the niche. Like started the second season. Who were some of the teams that challenged you in the second part of the season?
I think everybody, when you start getting to this point, they start trying to figure you out because your films get sent out on you. They try to find ways to kind of take away some of your things that you do well. And Carl Iver's going to be tough when we go over there last game of the season. It's always a kind of a rival game, so to say. There's a lot of history that goes behind that game, just from both coaches and players, But going into the playoffs, I think Southeast is kind of one of those teams that are really, really good. You got Coach Tulsa Memorial up on the East. Midwest City is playing extremely well right now. So we got to take it game by game and understand what we can control that, and do the things we do best, and hopefully come out with wins.
That's good stuff, though, man. Coach, how you doing over there, man? I know it's
doing good, man. And thankful to be here in Smoky Rays.
Thank you,
thankful
Smoky,
for letting them use this for their place. If you want some great barbecue, this is located in Dell City. It's right off 29th Street. They got some great food, and they're allowing us to use their establishment, and I'm thankful for that. And thankful to be here with Coach Hatchett. The success that he has on the court, it motivates me in a healthy way. It makes me competitive. You know, you don't want to have a program that isn't matching what they're bringing on the court. So every day in off season, we're seeing what they're doing, and I love the way we share athletes. We spoke about that when we were on here previously. We do a great job of sharing athletes. We respect each other when we're in their seasons, and our kids do a good job. They transfer what they're learning from the football field to the court, and then when we get them back, they transfer it to the track and then going into summer pride. So I'm thankful that we got somebody like Coach Hatchett to be able to lead the basketball program and be able to help me with my athletic director duties and be able to get these boys right. So when I get them back for track and football, we're just keeping moving in the right direction.
So Coach Hatchett, like I said, part of the second season, are you guys have any more tournaments left, or all your tournaments are done?
Tournaments are done. We've done our 3. So I think the last regular season tournament was last weekend of January. So now we'll go straight into the playoffs, which will be regionals. Will be the first tournament, so to say, and then hopefully get out of there and get in the area.
So how's the regional set up? I know I heard some people kind of moaning and grumbling. You got all 3 teams, Midland City, Dale City, and Carl Albert, all in the 3 regionals. For me, not knowing that much about basketball, how does that work? Do you have to get out of regional to make it to area? How does that work?
Yeah, well, you got to win your first game of regional. You don't win your first game of regional, you're sitting at home either with popcorn or crying, one or the other, so you got to win that first game.
You got to win that first game.
But that's why you play the regular season. I've always told our guys that you got to win the games you're supposed to win. And right now, we're the 1 seed in the West, so we would play the 16th seed out of the West. That'd be your first game of regionals. If you win your first game of regionals, you're at least guaranteed to get in the area.
Okay,
you may go in as a loser, but you still have an opportunity to get through it. So that's kind of how that works out. Right now, if you look the way it was last week, I think we were 1, Carlisle was 2, Midwest Southeast was 3, and Midwest City was 4. That could change this week because rankings just go in today at 12 o'clock.
So is there a chance all 3 of you guys can get in the area though, or?
Oh yeah, there's definitely a chance that all 3 of us can still get in the area. Now we wouldn't if it's. I'm saying if it happened like this, like if let's say Midwest City and Carl Albert was a 2 and a 3, they could possibly meet up in the area final.
Okay.
As winners. And if one of them lose, they just have to come through the back door side.
So is there a chance all 3 can still go to state too?
All 3, there's still a chance that all 3 Mid-Dale schools can still make the state. Yeah.
I tell you, Andy Carr, you got to be feeling good though. You got 3
I'm sure he is.
Yeah, I mean, with the Middle City girls, Dale City girls knocking off the arena early this year. I know they got beat last Friday night, but what they're doing over with Dale City girls too, man. I know they got a young lady number 0, and I got a chance to watch them when they played Midwest City the other night, and I mean she can just go. And I just tell you, Dale City's one of those teams that you can't sleep. The young ladies, Dale City ladies, you can't sleep on because they can come beat you any given night. And Midwest City's starting to put theirs together. And Carl Albert girls have been ranked number 1. So the state, this side of the city, the basketball has been really salty with girls and boys. So like I said, you guys all got to be tickled. But I'll tell you, that game that you say the last game of the season playing against Carl Albert, that's going to be a heck of a game. What would that be played at?
It'll be at Carl Albert. Rankings will be done and all that in, so it's just going to be a game going. It's going to be about mano a mano. The rankings aren't going to matter.
They ain't going to matter, right?
But let me ask you this, Coach, because I know in football, so we got to that point of the season and everything was already decided playoff-wise. In basketball, do you monitor minutes? Do you change things, or do you want to go on with the momentum that you established later part in the season? I love to hear how that's.
That's a great question. That's a good question.
I pretty much I want to make sure we'll continue playing well. At that point, I don't really. We monitor minutes. Pretty much every game. But if things are rolling the way we want them to roll, we want to continue that. Because after that game, that last game of the season, you got 4 days preparing your first round of regionals.
Yes, sir.
And I also think sometimes it depends on your opponent that you're playing. You may be playing some different kids, things like that. But kids want to win, coaches want to win, and anytime you get a chance to play, your crosstown rival, Carl Albert, last game of the season, those kids we're going to do whatever we got to do to find a way to compete.
To kind of bounce off Robert's question, do you have a certain time, like your big center, do you have a certain time, like you want to take him out and get him rest? Say he's hot, he's hit 10 shots in a row, and his time comes up. Do you kind of keep him in because he's hot, or do you say,
if
hey,
big man hits 10 shots in a row, I'm going to keep him in. All right,
but I always wonder that with coaches, though, when do you know when to pull a guy to give him the rest? You have, because I know you're coaching, and you got your little man, little Hatchet down there helping you.
Yeah.
But then, do you have a coach that's set up, hey, this is your job, fouls, minutes played out. I mean,
it all depends on foul situations. I think as long as he's not in foul trouble, of course, score where the score is going, how he's playing. If we think that he needs to get a rest or any of our guys, and we tell our guys, hey, you may come out for a minute or two, but we're ready to get back in for that next quarter. And they've been pretty understanding about that. Kids' mentality nowadays is they don't never want to come out.
Nobody wants to come out of the game.
But you got to understand, you got to come out. It's a team deal, and you got other guys that can kind of contribute and give us good minutes, and so that's one of those kind of game by game based type decisions that we do.
So do you have like a number of guys you're going to play? I mean, how many do you carry on the team?
Right now we're suiting up 13. 13 we have suited up. One of them is injured right now, so it would be 14. But right now, suited up active is 13.
So you try to get everybody in the game, or you just like, hey man, we're going 8 deep, 9 deep, or
it just
depends on the matchup.
Yeah, it depends on the matchup and how the game goes. We tell our guys, if you can break that top 10, then you're probably going to get a chance to get in the game. Or sometimes we only go 7 or 8 deep. I think the further you get along in playoffs, then the tighter the games get. Sometimes the bench gets thinner. I mean, I think you see that at any level. And our kids starting to understand that. And like I tell our guys, hey, we're here to want you guys to be successful. This ain't about us. And as long as you buy in and understand your role, whether you're on the bench and staying engaged or whether you're in the game, you got to stay really engaged. Let's make this an enjoyable moment and an enjoyable time for Dale City.
That's good stuff. Going into like recruiting, do you kind of help the guys get recruited, or you got certain coaches and certain guys you're like, hey man, I got this young man? Or how does that work? Because I know parents are always worried about getting their kids recruited.
Yeah, recruiting it's a different ball game these past 2 years. I think it's like there needs to be a lecture to parents and players, because I think a lot of them just don't really understand with the transfer portal and kids getting an extra year and all that, how that's going. It's really changed the recruiting for high school kids, especially your marginal average kid that can probably play maybe a little bit of college, but if he's behind, some JUCOs or some kids that they sat out because of COVID or whatever, it really makes it difficult for them to get scholarships. And I don't even know nowadays if there's the truth of real full scholarships or even really existing out there. They offer them, but an offer may be just $500, and then the rest is on the kid or the parent, So I know colleges are using, Oklahoma Promise if they go to an Oklahoma school, their FAFSA, their Pell Grant, to try to piecemeal those scholarships. But we try to do, when we know a kid's got an opportunity to go, we really stay in touch with those college coaches, and those college coaches reach out to us. Of course, this time is a kind of, a dead period of time, but most of those coaches are coaching in college, so it's really tough to really stay connected with them. But they'll send text messages and messages always to our kids. And my guys have been really good about giving me feedback and letting me know, hey, coach, such and such contacted me. I'll follow up with a phone call or an email, just letting them know, hey, if there's anything you need from us, let me know what we can do. And we have a pretty good relationship with most of the college coaches that have been recruiting our kids.
Since you got one of the top players in the state, do you have a lot of people come through and come check him out?
At the beginning of the year we did. At the beginning of the year when it was kind of open, there's time frames that they're allowed to come out and watch. The gym would stay pretty busy with those guys coming in, and that's usually around the beginning of preseason. So right now they're in their season, so he gets to go watch a lot of those games. Brandon gets a chance to go check a lot of those games out, which is really good. I always like to ask him what he saw, what he we always compare it to how we play and things like that. And it's a learning tool for them, because they need to really see the speed and the adjustment and how coaches coach and things like that.
This is a different ball game.
It's a totally different ball game.
It's a job, man. It's a full time. High school's cool, but each level you go up, man, it becomes a business. So these guys got to realize. Well, Coach Hatchett, I appreciate you coming on Keep It 100, the Coach Jones show, and feeding back to us, man. Because like I said, you've done a great job. Coming off a state championship now, you're looking to get another one. And like I said before, earlier, you should have had one the year that got canceled.
2020.
Should have had one there with some of those great players. But what you're doing over at Dale City, man. I know Miss Hill and the rest of Coach Jones, they all got to be tickled, because like I said, your kids are very disciplined. I've got a chance to watch them a couple times, and the way you guys get after it, I tell you, that Dale City game was great. I love the way you guys kind of came out and your Martin Luther King, little T-shirts, man. That just shows you, what you're doing with the community. And me and Jones talk about this all the time. I was at that game, and I tell you, what really tickled me to death was those girls sitting in the stands, the cheerleaders. I mean, they were bringing it to the Midwest City crowd, you know, and I just tell people all the time, man, just the atmosphere of that game and just seeing no trash talking from both teams. It was a well-played game from both sides, and you know, a lot of times people think you get that many kind of kids in there, it's going to be gangs, and I see no set throwing up and none of that. So I just want to give it up to both of you guys for what y'all done with Del City, and you know, people might give you guys a black eye, but at the end of the point, you guys do a great job over there.
Well, that was one of the biggest, you know, deals that since I've gotten a job at Del City, when I talked to Ms. Hill, you know, is just changing the culture. I know there's been some past, you know, bad blood or whatever you want to call it through both schools, but you know, Corky McCullum does a good job over there at Midwest City, you know, with Coach Hall and his administration and his staff that Corky's got. You know, I think it's the coaches, you know, it comes back on us. And without, you know, Coach Griffin, Coach Durham, and Coach Moe, our discipline wouldn't be as consistent as it is. And, you know, and it starts with Coach Moe with our freshman group. You know, he's got those guys lined up, ready to come in next year and when they're ready now. You know, Coach Griffin's been with me for 9 years, and Coach Durham comes from being a head coach. So we all know that it takes discipline and consistency and stability. And having that atmosphere of Midwest City was great. And that's something we've been trying to create even for our home games. I don't care if we're playing Noble, Piedmont, Carlisle, or whatever. We want our guys to come into the gym. We want to pack it out, have a great basketball atmosphere, because that's what kids enjoy. That's school pride. And I think sometimes that's kind of going away now with so much social media and kids involved in so many other things. Their attention, they forget about the high school activities and opportunities that they get, because once it's over, it's over.
That's good stuff. Like I said, once again, I thank you for coming on, and good luck the rest of the second
appreciate
half of the season, man. And keep taking care of little baby boy and baby girl.
No doubt. I appreciate you asking about them, and thanks for having me on here, Tony.
Man,
I appreciate what you're doing for Del City Athletics and Coach Jones and the programs over there. It's definitely been fun.
No, and real quick though, you know, like you said, you know, the Keep It 100 is doing a scholarship for any young man, you know, female athlete that's trying to go to the next level and get some, you know, some school paid for. It might help pay for their parking pass, their computer. You know, I'll clip it to this episode. If you have a young man, you know, or even a, you know, female, you know, we love for them to just, all of this is a 400 paragraphs, kind of tell them about themselves, what their plans are in college and all that. And so, you know, we're doing that. This will be our first one giving it away. So if you know someone that can help with that, $1,000 can go a long way, you know, paying for a computer or something. So, but, you know, you can pass it on. Like I said, I'll clip it and, you know, send it to you guys. But like I said, that's something we want to get back to all the student athletes. So I appreciate the guys that are helping me do that, you know, Brad Collier and then Eric, you know, Sanford out of Linex. And like I said, you know, I'm just trying to get back. And we want to thank the barbecue place for letting us come out and do our first, you know, remote, you know, outside the school, man. I think it's pretty cool, and it's something that me and Coach Jones, we're going to try to do different locations in Del City along with you, and then even my team with RT and Ethan, we're going to go out and do these remotes and get people to join Keep It 100, because at the end of the day, it's about pubbing kids and getting kids' names out there. You know, that's what it's all about, though. You know, me and Coach Jones has done the Coach Jones show last year, and it was very successful. Now adding you, doing, you know, the basketball, I just think it's great for high school sports, and people get to see your good-looking face.
Oh, I just try to clean up before.
That's all right. That's all right. I appreciate it, though. But folks, we'll be right back. Thank you for, you know, like I said, watching, you know, Keep It 100. We'll be right back with Coach Jones, and we'll talk a little bit of high school football. Back to Keep It 100, Oklahoma High School Sports with Coach Jones, the Coach Jones Show. We just had Coach Lenny on talking about, you know, success he's doing in basketball. I tell you, that team is really, really hot, man. He's done a great job. The last time we had him on, he had won, you know, he had lost three in a row, and now he's kind of found a niche. And even though he got some guys banged up and out, he still found a way to win. But, you know, real quick, we want to thank, you know, Kyrie over here at Smoky Rays that let us come and do this remote, man, and something me and Coach Jones will do out during the season. When football season kicks off, we'll be going out here in different locations, especially Del City, trying to get back to Del City and let people know, hey, you know, hey, you know, good places to eat here in Del City. You know, like I said, I didn't know about this place, but now I get a chance and I come grab some of this great barbecue. Like I said, I'll put a little menu and you know, put a little bit about the place. You know, we go to advertising. But Coach Jones, it's good to see you, man. Happy New Year and all those good things. So how you been doing?
I'm doing great. You know, like I always say, it's great things going on in Del City.
Yes, sir.
The job that Coach Hatchett's doing with the boys basketball team is amazing. You know, I knew that he would respond. I knew those 3 games, losing 3 games in a row, everybody was like, what's going on over there? Is Del City overhyped? And I knew what Coach Hatchett brought to the table and what those young men have been doing, and I knew that they would respond, and they have. Unfortunately, they lost Jaden Foreman for the year with a knee injury, but the next man stepped up.
That's
I'm pretty sure we'll talk about it later on in the show. Losing David Stone to IMG as well was a little knock to him, but he has that mentality of the next man up, and he's doing a great job of it. I'm excited to see them going into the playoffs and see what they can do. Also with Coach Webb, Coach Webb, what she's doing with the girls basketball program, she's doing a great job. They're making noise. I believe that they're ranked number 4 right now in 5A. They knocked off El Reno, which is a great program, even though they lost last Friday. But she's doing some great things with those girls, and they're moving in the right direction. And I think it all starts with what Coach Hatchett has established. It motivates the other sports to kind of keep up with that momentum and the success that he's having. So I'm excited what she's doing as well.
No, I think you guys are doing great things over at Del City, so not just the girls and boys basketball, just everything else you got going, Like I said, you got a big day this Wednesday.
Yes,
you got signing day. You want to talk about some of those guys that will be signed this Wednesday?
Yes, sir. It's been a real challenging year recruiting-wise, and everybody knows what's going on with the transfer portal, and it's really changed the landscape of recruiting. I got kids like, for example, Jason Smith and Darius Hampton. Normally, those guys would be Division I guys, I believe, but with the transfer portal and those colleges is being able to go recruit other kids from other colleges, and then the transfer rule of not having to sit out. So Oklahoma State can go get a kid from Texas Tech, and he can transfer over there and not sit out. So those colleges are taking those chances on those college kids instead of coming get those high school kids, because all the money that comes with college football and those things. So it's been real challenging, but it's shaped up well for us. We're going to have 4 young men signed on Wednesday. We're starting with Jason Smith. He'll be signing with NEO, Northeastern A&M Junior College, and I think he's a kid that will be able to go up there and take care of business, get in the weight room, and get used to the college life. And I think we'll be talking about him going to a Division I school here in a couple of years. Also with Darius Hampton, the sack king.
Sack king.
The guy broke the sack record. He's going to NEO as well. So I like that combination of them going, because I went to NEO and I had friends there. And anytime you have a friend, somebody that you can communicate with, somebody that can go through the struggles and the adversity that comes with being a freshman in college, I think it pays off for them. So those 2 guys going to NEO, I think we'll be hearing about those guys in 2 years, and we'll see where they go with that. And then you got Brian Stalker, inside linebacker for us, and this is an amazing story with this kid, because when he was a freshman and sophomore, it was times that I didn't think that he would make it through the program. So for him to be able to buy into what we're preaching, and for him to be able to take care of stuff in the classroom and character-wise, and he's going to sign with East Central University in Ada.
That's good stuff.
That's big time for him. And then we got Quadre Gilbert. He's the offensive lineman for us. We had a great rushing attack, and I'm so proud of that kid, because he was another kid that even last spring, him being in our program was in jeopardy, because he was making some decisions that when it didn't go with line with our program, and he bought into what I was telling him. I had a conversation with him. He made the necessary changes character-wise and bought into the program and was a leader for us. And he'll be signing with Panhandle State University. So anytime you get kids that get to go on and further their education,
yes, sir,
that's an exciting thing for us, man.
That's
what I
important.
want to preach, yes, sir. And one thing I got to say this, because it helped Darius, it helped Brian, and it helped Quadre. Oklahoma Promise. Parents have to understand how important that is. You get a free books and tuition if you sign up for it, and the application process is not difficult at all.
No.
And even if they get scholarships, they can still use that money, and then that scholarship money goes into their pocket. The Pell Grant and all that stuff goes into their pocket. So that Oklahoma Promise is so crucial for you parents to go out and fill that out, and it doesn't take long. I bet it's a 10-minute process, and it's just a free education. So I'm excited about those young men. I'm excited what they're going to be able to do and on the next level, and I'm glad that they bought into our program. I'm glad that they're able to represent our community well.
When you talk about NEO, man, I just got to talk to Coach Reggie, got us on your staff. His son, Quinlan, is at NEO, and I think that's pretty good that he's back in school.
Yes, sir.
He's getting a second chance to go do something that he loves, and
Absolutely.
hopefully he can start, fight for that starting position at NEO at QB. The kid's a great hard worker, and you know the young man for a while.
Sometimes it takes you getting into the real world. Quinlan left Northwestern Oklahoma State, and he got in the real world, and he was going to try to. And he still may be being a barber. He went to barber school, and sometimes it takes those kids getting into the real world and realize, like, dang, I miss football.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have my whole life to work, so I'm excited of him getting that opportunity.
That's it.
They like to run the quarterback, and I think Quinn has some skill sets that's going to be able to help him. I'm excited to see what he's going to be able to do up there.
I think if all those young men buy in and do their thing, you know, at NEO,
Yes,
and
sir.
the Indian schools are going to, I mean, they have a chance. You know, Jason Smith's a young man, like you said. He got a, you know, he already has a D1 body. If he can go in and prove to some people what he can do at running back or linebacker, I think he's going to have a chance to go to the next level. And about that time, you know, the COVID stuff should all be over. The transfer portal should be. I mean, I think die down a little bit. So I think he'll have a chance to go play somewhere. And like I said, it doesn't matter if you know if he leaves NEO and he goes to a good Division II. There's nothing wrong with Division II, man. I'm telling you right now, man. You know, if there's guys that's playing Division II ball going and playing the NFL.
Oh,
so,
absolutely.
you know, you go take care of business. A lot of good things can happen. You know,
Yes,
Coach.
sir.
You know, I know you had a little bump in the road. You know, and you know, we and you kind of talked about it. And you know, David Stone. You know, everybody knows by now that he left you and he's going to IMG. You know, and I understand you're happy for this young man.
Yeah.
But I tell you, you know, we both kind of talked about it. You know, for a couple of weeks that. Hey, you know what? It's the next man up.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
So tell some of the people that you know who you have that can replace. Because one thing about Del City, they're not going. You might lose a star, but somebody else is going to step up.
Absolutely, and to speak on David for a moment, you know, David had an opportunity to leave last summer.
Yes, sir.
And he stayed, and he was part of our success this year. You know, I had a close personal relationship with David. I picked him up every morning, and
Yes, sir.
IMG is a great opportunity for him. You know, I'm sad to see him go. But that you know, how many times do you see Oklahoma kids? I can only remember one Oklahoma kid go. So for him to be able to take advantage of the opportunity and go down there and show what he's learned at Del City, because he's a Del City kid from Little League all the way up to high school. So we were able to build him up and be able to help him get that success. And he has the talent to be able to go over there and be successful. So I think he'll still be an Eagle always. So the success that he has, it brings a certain notoriety to our program. And you know, kids are saying if you come to Del City, you have college opportunities, you have opportunities to go to IMG. Even though I don't want to see you leave, I'm happy for him. As far as guys stepping in, we're at a unique time in Del City right now. Since I've been here, we hadn't had the size that we have. And I think it comes from kids lifting their freshmen and sophomore year, and now that we're starting to have those kids with those prototype size to be able to play that position, we got a kid named Rayvon Swindle. He started offensive tackle for us, and he played a little D tackle. He's a 6'2", 325-pound player, and I think he's going to be able to step in and help out with it. And then we got a kid named Billiam Lewis. He's a Samoan kid. He's thick. His stature, his body's real thick. He's 6'3", 285.
Woo.
So he's a big kid as well. And he brings a lot to the table. He's very athletic. And then you have Daryl Thomas. He's the brother of Kaniju Thomas.
Yes.
He's 6'4", 6'5", 260 pounds. So I figure with all three of those guys stepping up and all three of those guys rotating, you should be able to replace a David Stone. And like I told our kids, one coach doesn't make the DC program.
No, sir.
You know, it can't. You have to be a program that no matter what happens, the adversity that comes, we should be able to overcome it. And I think we'll be able to. You know, we'll be able to respond, and we'll use it as motivation for the people thinking that David Stone was the whole team and that we're still not going to make noise in 5A. That's not true. We'll still be a team to be reckoned with, and the next guys step up like we always do. And I'm happy for David. I'm happy that these kids are going to be able to get an opportunity to show that, hey, David Stone's a great athlete, but let me show what I can bring to the table, and let me show what I can do for the program.
That's good stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like I said, you lose him, but like I said, the next man's up.
Yes,
Before you know it, Coach Spring Ball will be up, and you're doing a little spring ball, and then a little 7-on-7. How's the lifting going with all that? With the young men, can you see the change in their bodies?
Absolutely, it's going great. We've been in it for almost 6 weeks now. The kids are busting their tails. We've been lifting 5 days a week. I really like to kind of put the weight on them and kind of get them thick before we kind of progress into track season. So it's going great. We had a powerlifting meet last week. We had a couple guys do great. We got a kid coming over from us from John Marshall. His name is Tango McCauley. He won first place in the 242 weight class. He's a strong kid. He benched 335, squatted 485, and I think he deadlifted 495. So he's a kid that we're looking that can possibly replace the mold of a Jason Smith. He's a strong kid, and then we had everybody else. Our whole team was competing. And I say this humbly, every coach was coming up to me after powerlifting me and say, Coach, you got some great looking kids here. You got the best looking kids here. And it's a testament to our off-season program and our weightlifting program. I really don't like to say off-season because we lift the same year round.
Yes, sir.
And I'm just so fashioned. I don't do all the stuff you see on videos all these little new things. I'm old fashioned. You're gonna get underneath that squat rack, and you're gonna squat low, and you're gonna bench, and then you're gonna do the normal lifts that that you should be doing. And I got a weightlifting card that I got it from Texas when I was in Texas. It's the weightlifting card that came from Nebraska when they were winning back in the early '90s, and I've stuck with it, and it's been great for us, and it's been able to get us some athletes who are able to perform, and it also keeps us from injuries as well.
So going, like I said, going into the fall, not even the fall, the spring. Are you guys planning on doing any pad camps, team camps? Are you gonna host one? Or
we're trying to get some guys lined up to host one. Right now, we're working through the little. It's kind of tough to get your own because everybody's already locked in with other people, and it's that good old boy system where people just continue to go to the same pad camps.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, absolutely. So we got a couple teams that are on the fence, and if they can get bought in and they can commit to it, we're going to try to have our own pad camp, which I think is great. I think the more we can show people that Del City can have professional tournaments, professional pad camps, and run them the right way, and not have to be worried about the crime or whatever in people's minds over here. I want to continue to do that because this is a great city. It has great people. It has great restaurants. The facility that we're in right now, we need to show people that we don't only have great athletes and great teams. We can do other things as well. So I'm hoping to have that pad camp, and going into track season, I'm hoping to go try to compete for a 5A state title. We were in 6A last year for track, and that kind of culture shocked us a little bit with us moving back down to 5A, and with the athletes that we have. I think we'll have a great opportunity to go compete. I have that. I'm an old school. Every kid's gonna powerlift. And some of the kids wrestle, but every kid's gonna powerlift and every kid's gonna run track. So with the blend of that, moving into track season, I think we'll have a great opportunity to go compete for a state title, and that should balance it out, and you should be able to use that as you progress into the spring football and led into the summer pride.
So you kind of just talked about you guys moving back down to 5A.
Yeah.
I know a lot of those 5A teams you don't know, so there's a question. It's kind of a weird question, but are you kind of looking at some of those teams? Are you watching film for some of the teams that you will face this year going into the season?
Yeah, absolutely. And going into the playoffs, I kind of knew we already know what district we were going to be in. So I went and checked out Carl Albert and Colway to kind of see the style of play and what we're going to be facing. And obviously, I saw McAllister, and they have a great running back. I saw him just commit to OU. And then Sapulpa, Glenpool, and then Tulsa East Central, and Tulsa Memorial. Those are all teams that I'm not very familiar with on the east side, but I'm excited to be able to go over there and compete with some new schools, some new logos, and be able to see what we can do on that level, And we open up the season with 3 great games, We open up with Choctaw, crosstown rivalry, and I'm excited to see how we can compete against that team. Everybody was looking forward to the matchup.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The playoffs, but things didn't shape out. We both kind of underachieved, per se. Anytime you're a 1 seed and you got somebody at home, you got to win that game. So I understand that, and I'm looking forward to that matchup. And we played Carl Albert last year. We played Midwest City. So I love to play the teams that are near us because it's good for the community.
It's good for the community.
It's good for everybody. Let's play each other. And if you lose, you lose. But let's play each other, and let's give the fans what they want to see. And I'm excited about that.
I tell you what would be pretty cool though. And you kind of talk about, you guys are not playing each other all. It'd be good if Andy can set up that, hey, you guys kind of had a, red, black, and whatever color the Titans are, like a scrimmage, not scrimmage each other, but even if you had all day to, hey, a Saturday, start about 4 or 5 o'clock, maybe Del City goes and Midwest City goes and Colorado go, or vice versa, and then you can have the whole community come out there. And I think everybody makes a little bit of money out there. It's kind of like a preview.
Absolutely.
But kind of have all you guys out there previewing.
Yes, sir.
And especially if you're not really playing each other no more and you're not seeing
we
each
are,
other.
We're
you and Carl Albert still, you and Midwest City still.
And we got into the Carl Albert scrimmage. So we will at least be at a scrimmage call.
Okay. But I just think you can make some money doing that. So you got the turkey legs out there and had a preview. And if you watch it, which we know you will, I think that'd be good because then you bring the whole community together. And everybody can come out and watch great football for one Saturday afternoon. Like I said, you can start it at, everybody go an hour. One team starts at, 6, and one go at 7, and one go at 8. And they all scrimmage in different other teams. But then you're bringing gate fee money in. and then you're bringing everybody get to come out and see the community and the kids. At the end of the day, all these kids are still friends. They're still buddies, man. And if they go to Carl Albert, Dell City, Mill City, they're all still friends. And that's why I said about that basketball game the other night, man. Just watching that game, there was no, smack talking. It was straight good basketball, man, from both sides, man. And to watch that Brandon kid, play the game, man. And I just tell you, man, Lenny got a salty team. What you guys got over Dell City is very special.
Absolutely.
And like you said, people are talking about you in the powerlifting. How good your kids look. The kids do look good, though, man. I just tell you, I know they didn't get to finish the season, but I think he'll be a big part of what you do this year in football.
Absolutely. He wants to try to be a quarterback, and I'm gonna give him that opportunity. Yeah, he plays a lot bigger than his size.
No, he does, man.
Even in basketball, he's short and small, but when you look at him, you don't see that size being an issue. So.
He was going up against those big guys like the Jacoby kid over at Mill City. He was challenging them, going up against those guys, getting rebounds. So I just think what you guys have done over at Dell City has been phenomenal. I just think you're going to keep the ball rolling. I think, losing David Stone, but I think you got too many great athletes. I think a lot of eyes on David Stones, but I think you're going to have some of these guys that's going to step up, like you said, the big kid, and some of these guys are underclassmen, so now they get their chance, because David Stone did get a lot of spotlight, but, you still got Foreman coming back. You got the good kid that moved in from John Marshall, and then you got Nigel, man. I just saw him. He was just over at over Kansas over the weekend visiting.
He was at Kansas. He went to the Kentucky and Kansas game.
That just tells you right there what you got going in your city. I know a lot of people might talk about they got 10 to 14 kids signing, but at the end of the day, where they sign it at.
Yeah.
That's the most important. Anybody can go sign. It could be a walk-on. Yeah. I mean, it's a real scholarship. So what you're doing over Dell City is very special, Coach, and you just keep doing what you're doing, man. And like I said,
one thing I left off too, and this is a big deal. Darius Hampton made the All-State game.
Oh, yes. And congratulations, you too, coaching that All-State game.
Yeah, they actually asked me to call the defense, and it's such a surreal feeling because I didn't get to make the All-State game as a player, and that really hurt me because I felt like I was qualified. But now that I understand the selection process, I see how it happened. It's tough to make it. You got to have 4 players from each classification. So it's a lot of good football players. But to be able to call the defense in that game and then be able to coach one of my own players, it's a great opportunity. I'm really excited about it. I'm ready to put Dell City on the map. And I love that we're getting these opportunities to show people that Dell City is not ghetto, guys. Dell City is not what everybody portrays it. And I really, that's unfortunate that people think like that. And I'm glad we're able to change that. And I think we'll continue to change that. And I said this to people for the longest. You don't win state championships at schools that are ghetto. It doesn't happen. We win them in track, basketball, and hopefully in the future we get them in football. This is not a ghetto school. This is a well-established school in a well-established district, the same district that Carl Albert Middle City's in. And it's time for people to understand that it's not like that over here.
I think, once you, and not taking that from the other coaches here, I think, once you and Dunn and Lenny and some of you guys start coming in and you start changing the atmosphere, you bring that granted, you got your own tradition, but you still coach under the Coach Rose and under his umbrella. So you bring what he's taught you, then being at Oklahoma State, playing for under Coach Miles and seeing the things that you've been around your college coaches. Then, like you said, being at NEO, starting there, and then going to OSU, then starting your coaching over at college, but then going to Texas, it's helped you develop your program and the things that you're doing. So I think that piece that you're saying, hey, ghetto, I think that's going away. I think people see that with you and Coach Hatchett and then the ladies, girls basketball coaches, what you guys have done, the wrestling program, the baseball program, you're all stepping up, like I said, in the track, you have stepped up. And Miss Hill, what she's done with that school, man, you don't see a lot of stuff on TV. Dell City did this, did that. So I think you guys have all done a great job in molding these kids and making them better. Like I said, I've been to a few games and I've seen what's happened at the games, man, and it's all great. It's no bad blood. So I think you've done a great job in the whole staff.
Yes, sir. I appreciate that, and I think it's only going to get better. I think.
Yes, sir.
I think the middle school sports are starting to be enhanced. I really want to get an off-season program started down there, but we have to be unique in how we do it because we don't have an athletic period. And I pray that that's something that people think about on the admin side of things, because I think it's important. And an athletic period is so important to you not only lifting weights and training, but character stuff and being able to see kids on a daily basis. So And I know some schools on the east side of Oklahoma do it, and I see tweets and things of Bixby doing it all the time, and
Bixby,
people wonder why they're so good. They got those middle schoolers doing things that the high school kids are doing
already. So it
It's
looks
great.
great, yeah.
Yes, sir. So I pray that we can get that going, but I have to use unique strategies in the time being to be able to give my middle school kids workouts, be able to get them character development and character lessons. So I'm excited about what's going on. I'm excited about keep this thing going in the right direction.
Well, Coach, like I said, I think another great show. Well, once again, we want to thank Mr. Irvin over here at
Yes, sir.
Smoky Rays and letting us use his facility to do our show, and something that we're going to keep doing. Once we get to Coach Jones' show weekly, we'll pop in different places. We'll still do it from the school and have players on, but like
Absolutely.
I said, right now we'll pop at different spots. Get ready for regional. Del City's boys basketball team. Get ready for track season. We're going to keep this going though. So,
Absolutely.
Coach Jones, I appreciate you. And,
Appreciate you, man.
and like I said, once again, if you have a young man or a female athlete that's looking to go, even if they're trying to go to trade school, that's looking for money for scholarship, hit us up on the Keep It 100. Oklahoma Sports, and like I said, we'll put it at the end of the show.
Yeah.
And then anybody is welcome to apply for it. All you have to do is subscribe to Keep It 100 and subscribe to our Twitter page, Keep It 100, and you're eligible to be part of it. And like I said, we'll pick a winner at the end of this month, end of February.
Yeah.
So you still got a whole month to fill out a 400 paragraph, just talk a little bit about yourself, so your accomplishment in school, sports, and the school you plan on going to is going to a good cause. Like I said, I want to thank Andy Collier, Chris Collier, and then Eric Sanford, Line X for what they do, and the Colliers for coach of training, and I had 2 silent donors, that's helped out and give more money. So it's not going to just be a one-time deal.
That's
We're going to keep doing it, man. And, like I said, it's giving back to the kids. Like I said, once again, I don't make any money on this. I do it for the kids, and like I said, and that's one thing. That's why we keep it 100, because it's all about the kids. It's not about me. It's not about Coach Jones. It's about the kids. So, like I said, once again, thanks for watching another great show to Keep It 100, Oklahoma High School Sports and the Coach Jones Show. We'll see you next time. Thank you.